Now, there's no doubt the massive muscles, glowing white teeth and dark tans we see on social media these days will make many question their own body image. And it seems that even those we often idolise are not themselves immune to those doubts and influences.
Yes, this is TV personality James Locke in the first season of The Only Way is Essex back in 2013. He's changed over the years. He says online bullying and unrealistic body standards drove him to cosmetic procedures and even steroid abuse. Well, he joins us now alongside the Conservative MP Dr Luke Evans, who is pushing for much tighter regulations on how body image distorting content is managed online. Very good morning to you both.
Good morning.
James, it's good to see you this morning. What do you feel you didn't like about your body? I mean, because from the outside, handsome man, no need to change anything. Beauty's partly on the inside as well as the outside anyway.
Of course, yeah.
All of these, I'm sure, are things people have said to you.
Yeah.
But there's something gets into your head, isn't there, when you feel you've got body dysmorphia, which distorts the image.
Well, look, the thing is, I can acknowledge, you know, that there's a problem, but then it's still, I still act a certain way, if that makes sense. So I know that it is, sometimes I'm being irrational. Right. And I know, like, I can sit here now and I know I'm, you know, like, I'm a good-looking guy, I'm in good shape, but I will still find fault, like, whether I'm on set or, you know, even if I'm just going away on a holiday or if I'm doing a shoot for a brand, I will find fault. It's got to a point where I cannot now look at the pictures, see, like, the pictures now, I've got my agent will go through the pictures for me or pick the, you know, I'll just send all the images over and let her pick one, because if I go through myself, I will find fault in something, in some aspect, you know, and it's this constant, you know, battle with yourself, you know, even though you're looking in the mirror, you're not seeing what other people are seeing, you know, and I've spoken to, you know, friends and family that think I'm, you know, they think, oh, you're a bit crazy, but even when we're, you know, on site, we speak to, like, on set rather, and you have like a duty of care, like you speak to a psychologist after for whatever reasons, just to, you know, as part of the protocol. Right. But even they're like, sometimes they've addressed it and said, we think you've got, like, body dysmorphia, you know, and you sort of half shrug it off, like, what are you talking about? You just dismiss it. Especially as a man, you just think, like, you just brush it off, you know.
It's not a phrase lots of our viewers will have heard before. Yeah. I hadn't heard it before. So just explain what you understand that phrase to mean, body dysmorphia.
For me, it's feeling uncomfortable, feeling insecure, you know, uncomfortable with what you see.
Of yourself?
Of yourself, of course. Look, for the outside world, people will see me as a confident man, and in certain aspects, yes, to a certain degree, I am. But, you know, behind closed doors, you know, it's not, you know, a picture only tells 1,000 words, you know, and behind closed doors, like, I'm insecure, I'm constantly finding fault, I'm constantly blaming myself, I'm competing and comparing myself to other people, and as I'm getting older...
Because of how you look?
Because of how I look, and then in the industry I'm in, not even just the industry, I think even before I was in this industry, you know, we was talking earlier, it's saying, like, for men or women, you're going away on a holiday, you're then thinking about, you're panicking about having that bikini body. So the girls are starving themselves and the guys are then, you know...
Working out.
And then because they're working out or they're panicking, they then start dabbling in other things, which could be steroids or whatever else, and then it becomes a vicious circle. So
tell us what you changed about yourself.
In terms of procedures?
Yeah.
Well, again, this is from going into the industry, what I would say it is just heightened it, because the more times where, you know, where the pictures you're getting, you know, papped or you're on camera and you're finding fault in yourself, you know, even though when people don't want to listen to themselves on the radio, when you watch yourself back on camera, or I'm out on a night out and I've been caught off guard with a bit of a moody picture, and the next minute you're scrutinising yourself, not even to do with what you're up to. It's like, look at the state of me, especially with the boys and girls, yeah, they're picking things. But yeah, it's got worse when I've been in the industry. But I started off with, like, a hair transplant. I've had, like, my ears done before. I've had my teeth done. The teeth, I think, is pretty much a standard thing. Everyone's getting their teeth done at the minute. Recently, I went back out. I'd done another TV show and I injured myself a little bit. And the injuries were bad, but they probably wasn't as bad as what I created, the problems I created in my head. It wasn't as bad. So then I've had my eyes done, my nose done, and it's like, you're getting carried away. You're getting... Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, because you're chasing a perfect version of yourself.
Yeah, which doesn't exist.
Well, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Which it's the natural version of yourself.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
I think
course.
you still look perfect to me.
I appreciate that.
But I think the trouble is that when you talk about those kind of unguarded paparazzi shots,
yes,
no one's ever going to look good in those, are they? Because partly they want you to look not perfect.
They buy the words.
And you look better than most of us in those shots.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's debatable.
And so you say it's partly the industry itself that makes it hard. But, of course, next to you, Luke Evans, you think it's partly that an image is projected of people, particularly young men and young women, that no one could ever live up to. So it's negatively
exactly right. And
influencing.
James coming out and talking about it, because that's part of the problem. People go, he's a good-looking guy, what's he got to worry about? Actually, that's almost the problem in itself, because everyone is chasing this aspiration to look to a certain way, and we can't achieve it. Add in the digital world with social media. Now you can change your images so easily. We're bombarded with images time after time of people getting that perfect snapshot, putting it and projecting it as real life, and suddenly all you're seeing, whether you're in your bedroom or out and about, is the perfect life shot. You know, hashtag living my best life went round and round on social media. So we're creating this warped sense of reality that just doesn't exist. And if you're living like that constantly, we're going to create more and more problems of people concerned. Now, we know that 1 in 3 children have shame about their bodies, and 1 in 5 adults have shame about their bodies. And at the extreme sides, people look to surgery or eating disorders or steroids to try and sort this out. That's what I'm most worried about.
Can I just push back you a little bit on this? I don't disagree that this is a massive problem. When I was in the cabinet, I did a thing with Gok Wan where we had mums and dads watching their 14-year-old boys and girls talking about their body image. Yep. And the thing which was totally shocking, for the mums in particular, is that their 14-year-old boys talked so distressingly about how they felt about their body image. This was in 2008. Yep. Before Instagram, before Snapchat, before social media really took off. I mean, we've had these issues about images and body image for decades, and today on social media, there's lots of influencers. I think of Jessie Davis, who does stuff around stammering, but also body image. Lots of other examples. People go out and say, I am who I am, and I'm proud of it. Voices speaking back. I wonder whether social media is actually always making things worse. Aren't there some ways in which social media is actually making things better, giving a voice to people to say, you know, this is me?
You're seeing a change in some social media now, seeing a positivity, and particularly companies. Dove are a very good example of using body positivity as a way of making change. But fundamentally, we know, for example, the number of people using eating disorders went up 50% during the pandemic. Yep. We also know that there's up to 1 million people using steroids and 1.25 million people with eating disorders in the UK. Those numbers are skyrocketing. So I think there is a real issue. There is some positivity within it, but more problematic is actually all the data. The Girl Guides is a great example. They do a yearly survey about body image, and 1 in 2 girls at the age of 11 to 13 are positive about the way in which they look. By the time they get to 16, only 1 in 10 feel comfortable about the way they look.
And that's getting worse, is it?
80% of them surveyed said I will only put an image up that's been doctored. That's the world we're living in at the moment. So for 20%, that's fine. But that's 4 in 5 images that young girls are wanting to put up. They feel the pressure to alter it, and that's a really concerning stat.
I don't know how we tackle it. Yeah. You know, you want to legislate, and I think that's a noble aim. But, I mean, really, James, the issue is we need to just feel comfortable with being good enough, don't we? We've got to stop chasing this idea that we can, if we just tweak that, then we'll feel OK. Because then, as you say, there's going to be something else that someone's going to say, yeah, but have you noticed, you know...
That's the thing, like, we can sit in there, I can be rational about it.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but then I will still... Like, a couple of days ago, I'm doing a shoot, and I'm finding fault. So something that would have taken a couple of pictures, would have took a half hour, next minute it takes a full day, because I'm finding fault in everything. And then I'm comparing myself to my competition. Now, the competition now, as I'm getting a little bit... I'm obviously not old, but as I'm getting older...
By the way, you're not
I'm competing, yeah, but I'm not. No, of course, I hope not.
But your industry, you're talking about, there's an age, isn't there? Yeah.
You've got to remember, whether it's on shows that I've been on or other shows, and we might all be friends on the show. We're actually all in competition. It's a very vicious thing where you're all in competition, and it's that sometimes, oh, I want someone from this particular show. Which one am I going for? Well, they, looking a certain way or looking that bit better will get you picked over the other person. It really is. It is like that because you're not going to go and get a fitness campaign if you're not fit and looking a certain way. But then I'm competing with a guy that's, 10 years younger than me. Do you know what I'm saying? Which it is what it is, but I've obviously now made a career out of this.
If we take you out of your MP role and put you in your GP role, what would you say to James?
Well, James he's so brave talking about what's going on here. And I think what James shows the difference between mental well-being and mental health. Lots of people talk about the two interchangeably. Yeah. Mental well-being, we all feel stressed, daily living, when you go out to have a job interview or something like that. What James is expressing is mental health problems by the fact that it impacts his daily living so that he can't literally do anything. And that's the really distressing part. There's help out there. That's the key point. There are charities out there, the Body Dysmorphic Association do support for this. There's mental health practitioners out there that will help you with this. It's really important that we actually identify that problem. So from the GP side, there's help there.
And that's good you said. We actually have details of a number of those helplines on our website as well, itv.com/helplines. James, speaking out about it is incredibly empowering for people.
I think so.
And I think if you can focus on that, what you do that is so positive, I hope that alleviates some of the distress that you feel.
Well, this is why I'm doing it. I've got a younger brother, 10 years gap, and he's not in the industry, but I can see it with him. He's going the same way as me now. Yes. And now I'm telling him, stop being silly. But then I'm telling him to stop being silly. That's right.
Sometimes...
And I'm doing what he's asking me. So it doesn't make sense.
Give yourself the advice you'd give to someone you love.
But this is the problem. This is in my own head. No matter what the advice I'm giving, I can acknowledge it. I'm still finding fault.
Thank you so much. Luke Evans, MP. James, thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
So good to see you. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.